Spontageous is improvised crowd fun. It begins when someone assesses a crowd and says, there's not enough fun happening here, maybe I can begin a performance. To attract the attention of the crowd, the person claps 3 times. If that person is an advanced performer or one who has done and run performances before, they may add an extra sound to that. The person who has called the performance then looks around while holding up an OK signal, asking the crowd permission. People in the crowd then assess the situation. If they want to be involved, they point at the person who has called the performance and say, yeah, 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 yeah. Other people will join in. The people who are willing for the performance to happen often will turn to people around them and say, fun, it's fun, it's fun, it's fun, yeah, 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 yeah. The person who has decided to call the performance then assesses the crowd. Is there enough people to make a performance happen? That person may decide to begin the performance where the crowd is standing. May decide to call the group who want to be performers into a circle to run Mexican wave formations. May want to be in the middle of the circle and therefore activate different harmonies and sounds and stuff. The person who calls the performance may want to do a solo piece, want to do a poem, want to do a dance. There are certain ideas that can be presented to a crowd at any time through the spontaneous medium. The crowd is divided into 3 groups at any particular time. If one finger is held up, it means all of the people born in the first third of the year. The second finger is held up. 2 fingers held up means the people born in the second third of the year. 3 fingers held up means people born in the third third of the year. At any time throughout the performance, people may change groups. They also may decide to provide octaves to the sound that is represented by the presenter. At certain points in the performance, the presenter may make this signal, which means improvise, break out of the standard, develop the theme, come into other ideas. The performance may be laughter, it may be word, it may be chant, it may be song, it may be all singing just simple notes, maybe singing chords of notes. It may be producing never-ending varieties within chords of notes after a simple chord or note is presented initially. The ideas develop as the performance progresses. If a person holds up, running the performance holds up one fist, they are referring to all the men in the group. A hand with the palm flat is referring to all the women in the group. The hand wide means everyone join in. If someone holds up a finger like this, referring to group 1, and then makes a signal like this, it means group 1 should stop. Likewise with other groups. So various pieces may be stopped and started at will. When this signal is made, it means a Mexican wave should be prepared. When people do the Mexican wave, they have to move some particular part so that it's visibly noticed that they are the wave. The Mexican wave may be a simple sound, a simple laugh, something very simple, that maybe even a clapping Mexican wave. Or it may be catch the fly clapping Mexican wave where the hands go around like this, or following the crowd like this. There are many variations on how a Mexican wave can begin. What sounds can be used within the Mexican wave. It might be a rhythm as an as a Mexican wave. Or probably as a Mexican wave. There might be an accompanying movement. Whoa. So Mexican wave, the sound and the movement may actually take up to 10 seconds for it to actually sort of completely finish with that person. So within the Mexican wave you might be able to involve 1 or 2 people as the wave goes past in smaller groups. But when larger groups begin to occur, it is best if the wave is seen to be a large group, maybe 10, 15, 20 people in the circle, being still involved in the wave. Spectacular dynamic. If the person running the performance is integrated within the wave, they are able to stop the wave as it comes to them. After they've presented the wave, it goes around, they stop it as it comes back to them, and then they may decide to do another different kind of mixing wave, where they send the wave around the other direction, or another wave, which direction? There are waves that can be sent by men in one direction and women in the other direction, seamlessly passing through each other. So different kinds of dynamics can be developed on the spot. When the person who is running the performance decides to finish the performance, he holds up an OK signal. That is asking for recognition that this part of the performance is finished. The crowd claps and cheers. The person who has been running the performance scans the crowd. If someone in the crowd is holding up their fingers in an OK signal, the person who has been running the performance points to that person and says, yeah, 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 yeah. Everyone else then points to that new person and says, yeah, 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 yeah. And so the leadership is seamlessly passed from one person to the next person. You can see there are no necessary words involved in these kinds of performances. But as the new leader is elected or decides to take on the performance, they have the choice of explaining a particular concept or immediately beginning a new concept. The performance that is run may last 10 seconds, but it may last 5 minutes, and it may even be extended by popular demand if necessary. At some time in the performance, and perhaps even as a finale, there is a procession effect that is a most spectacular crowd event, because it gives everyone the chance to be met by everyone. A procession is indicated by these signals here. It means form 2 rows facing each other. If necessary, you could use other signals to organise maybe men facing women, but two lines of people facing each other. The rules of the procession are that you begin your part within the procession where you are standing. You never break out of that formation and form a queue waiting to go through the procession. When it is your turn to join the procession, you will need to negotiate with the person opposite you. It will be obvious that one of you join at that particular spot. So there is no queue. When you come to the end of the procession, you stand on one side or the other side. It doesn't need to be the side you started on. If the procession is rotating, turning around in some particular direction, then it will be necessary to balance the numbers in certain kinds of ways. When you come out at the end of the procession, you need to negotiate. You have 2 or 3 seconds where you are able to influence the direction of where the procession is going. You have to stop it from running into walls, stopping it going into rivers, stopping it from entering traffic. And in this kind of performance, it can be an open-ended, procession can be an open-ended thing that just keeps on going forever. And the first time through, I send people through sometimes as welcome. Everyone pats everyone on the back as they go past through the procession, welcome, or well done, you're fantastic, or some other kind of, a phrase that positively activates people. Now with this particular kind of spontaneous aspect to the procession effect, there is one particular medium that can be developed here where the person who calls the procession, the person who sets the whole thing up, is the first one to go through the procession. Everyone follows that person because they've introduced the idea. Then everyone else goes through. Everyone follows that same idea all the way through. When that part is finished, the person who began the performance then walks through the procession again with arms raised, being thanked by all of the people who are involved in the procession. As that person goes through, someone in the procession may hold up their fingers in an OK signal. The person who has been running the performance then either indicates by, tapping that person on the hand, or giving them a nod, or saying yeah, 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 yeah. But that person then who has indicated they want to run a performance, they then are able to step in and run the next part of the performance, call the next kind of procession, or perhaps turn the performance into a Mexican wave again, or perhaps into a group that is improvising around various rhythm and sound pieces. So there's enormous versatility in the system of producing this choir. There are obvious signals of quieter and louder and raising up to a crescendo with your hands raising up like this.